Good morning. I think for you, it's my afternoon. But Michele, it's really lovely to have you with us today, or with me. Thank you very much for coming.
I'm so excited to be here and to get to see you. And yes, it's early. It's 7:15 in the morning, so it's early here.
Well, the lovely thing about some technology is that you are in the States and I'm here this side of the pond in the UK, and we can actually share time together. So for anyone who's listening, I met Michele maybe 2 years ago now, I think. When my book came out, Michele was one of the people that really kindly just got behind me and wanted to meet me. And we just struck up the most amazing friendship. And she's one of my really favorite people. And when I went to the States about 2 months ago, I really tried hard to see if I could just zip along to meet you in person, but it wasn't to be. But I'm going to ask you a question, Michele.
Sure.
Because for anyone who's listening, Michele is a teacher, but also what I'd like Michele to do is to share with us what else you do to look as good as you do and be so vibrantly healthy. Because I think that's, one of the things we have in common is that we're both wanting to get out to the people who are really, really struggling, when now the American healthcare system and the English healthcare system is buckling at the knees. So I'm going to ask you a question, which is, can you please tell us what you do?
Absolutely. So I agree with you. I mean, I think that the healthcare system, I don't think it's been perfect, but for some reason, the last few years, I think it just became broken. And I think as a whole, Western medicine tends to focus on one thing, and that is treating the symptom. And I believe that we need a more holistic approach.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and do a short encapsulated version of my story. But 5 years ago, I found something pretty incredible. So I have been that person that has just always had sensitivities to medication. I've got some allergies to medications. And so from early on, I've always looked at alternatives: acupuncture, chiropractic, herbal medications. I saw a little acupuncturist, and she was from China, and she had the most amazing Chinese herbs. And that's kind of got me started on, I don't need to go to the drugstore and get a pill. I can take something that's all natural and plant-based. And I liked that. There are fewer side effects, if any, it's a better approach. I just am a real believer that we just need to treat the whole person. We need to treat the mind, the body, and the spirit. And we need to look at holistic alternatives. What can we do that will benefit our bodies? And so I did find something a few years ago, all natural, plant-based, really good quality products. And I believe that's helped. That's the only thing I'm taking at this point. I'm 58 and made it through the pandemic with nothing. I didn't get sick. I stayed healthy, even though I was back in the classroom teaching pretty early on. And I teach special education kids, so they like to be right on top of you and hugging you. And so, I taught through all of that and stayed really healthy. And I do believe it was because I was really working on getting my body to do the job that it was meant to do, instead of looking to a pill to take care of a symptom.
Yeah.
So that's it in a nutshell.
Well, I think that's what we both have in common. That, we both believe. It's not even a question of believing, because it's not blind faith. It's, a real understanding that our bodies are a feedback mechanism, and every sign and symptom that we get actually is trying to get our help. Can you hear the noise in the background? Oh, good.
No.
Good. I'm very, very grateful. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a huge testament to what we're talking about, that you managed to go through COVID with children on top of you. And I was asked to write an article, I think it was last week, and it was basically saying how could people help their children going back to school, because, you know, at the end of every single holiday, the children go back to school and they're sharing each other's germs. But, you know, I don't know what you think about it, but, you know, germs are not the problem.
No.
The state of our immune system is what is the problem.
Yes. And I really believe that during COVID that people were so fearful with the masks and the gloves and, you know, constantly washing our hands and hiding away from people for months when we were all locked in. And I don't feel like that helped us any, because it actually weakened the immune system. We need to be out there. I know that my mom, when I was little, she used to always say, God made dirt and dirt don't hurt. So I just think we need to get back to that it is not bad to be exposed to things, because that keeps your immune system healthy. And if you are doing all the things internally that you should be doing, exercise, getting sunshine on your beautiful face and your beautiful body, you know, doing all the things that we know are healthy, drinking water, eating good foods, all those things strengthen your immune. Yeah. All those things strengthen your immune system.
Yeah.
And that's what we need, is a strong immune system. Oh, it was one of the things that drove me crazy during the pandemic, was nobody was talking about how to help ourselves.
I know.
To me, that was nuts.
Yeah, no. I think I had a really sad conversation with someone only yesterday who used to work for the medical system. And we were both saying that it's terrifying that there are so many young people now who are shut away in their rooms, and they have such high levels of anxiety, they will not come out. Well, I mean, I can't imagine a childhood where, I mean, my own childhood and probably yours, I was outside running around.
Yes.
You know, I was getting dirty, I was on a farm, but I grew up incredibly resilient. And, you know, if I think of the amount of times that I've gone on sort of, you know, medical visits to patients, and they've had infections and all sorts of very, very serious stuff. Sometimes they've been potentially infectious. I've never once got anything from anybody. So I think this idea that, I mean, I guess I haven't said that very well, but I think what I'm saying is that our capacity to go out into the world and have a sense of our immune system being strong, and even more than that, if you're immune, I mean, my immune system, some people who listen to this will know, is not very strong, but I'm very strong. So what my immune system, I don't take my immune system for granted, but I don't have a sense of fear and sort of paranoia about going out. I need to breathe. I cannot wear the masks. I suffer from low blood pressure, heart rate will go all over the place. You put something on my face and I'm absolutely stuffed. I mean, far more serious than getting a germ, serious trouble.
Yes. So, well, and I suffer from asthma, and I had the same issue when you put that mask over my face. All of a sudden, I really couldn't, and I have anxiety. So I think the two combined, I felt like I couldn't breathe in that thing.
Yeah. So I'm absolutely heartbroken about what we've created, the consequences. So you know, that was why, you know, when the book came out, it was lovely to meet you, because, you know, we think along the same lines, and there is so much that can be done. And you know, this particular podcast is really talking about, from both of our perspectives, what you can do. And, you're part of an organization which really does its homework absolutely meticulously. I'm not going to name it
Right.
for all sorts of obvious reasons, but if anybody wants to find out more about what Michele is up to, please just contact me and I'll give you Michele's details, because Michele is part of something that does supply incredible nutrition, absolutely superb nutrition, which does make a difference. And the only reason why I'm not kind of plugging a particular one is because that's not the purpose of these podcasts. But I can absolutely vouch for Michele. And the more that we get out into the world, this idea that you can look after yourself, far more than anyone is thinking at the moment. It really is heartbreaking, isn't it?
I agree. And, I had heard a quote from somebody, I think it was Aubrey de Grey, who talked about our body is a miracle, and it's all about awakening the miracle within our own body. And I think that we have just really turned away from that. And we are so focused on getting a doctor to tell us something or to give us something, instead of learning how we can help our bodies help us, because they can do so many, this body can do so much for us. It can do so many incredible things, but it is treating it right and getting it to do the work it was supposed to do. And people just have lost sight of that. And it is sad. I suffered from anxiety and depression for years, pretty debilitating depression. And it's all wrapped up in this same thing. Once I started healing the body, that healed because I was taking care of myself. I was taking care of my body.
Yeah.
And we have to really treat our body like the miracle that it is.
Well, also, I always love talking to you, but, you've said some key things, which is we need to be in partnership with our bodies. And I'll tell you something that's really shocking. On the news yesterday, I was in the car, and one of the headlines was that the incidence of people going the wrong way on motorways, on highways, is going up. And they really honestly believe that it's because people are relying on their navigational systems.
Yes.
Now, where my brain went, Michele, was, isn't that extraordinary that we're no longer having a partnership with our own senses, driving the car looking, we're just giving our power and our authority away to a machine.
Yes.
And, Western medicine, I'm not deliberately attempting to be too controversial, but in the old days, doctors literally would look at you and could review how you were instantly. They didn't rely on machines. And I think there's too much nowadays that is so dependent on machinery. And then we're losing that connection. So people often say to me, and I bet they say to you, how do you know? How do you know that people don't even recognize they're tired.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
They don't even know the basics about themselves. That's just tragic.
It is. I think we've just become too reliant on technology and authority. And I think we need to start start getting back to thinking for ourselves.
Yeah.
And taking charge of ourselves. And that means taking charge of your body, taking charge of your mind, taking charge of your health, and being responsible for you. And I think we need to get back to doing that. We just stopped doing that.
Yeah. Are your little ones coming?
No, it's my aide is here because my kids are coming in a few minutes.
Okay. Well, Michele, we're going to keep this short and sweet. And
okay. But I think
please,
let's do another one.
Yes, please.
We have way more to talk about.
Michele, thank you very much indeed. And let me repeat, anybody who's curious about what Michele is up to, just get hold of me and I will pass you straight to this gorgeous woman. Bye, darling Michele, and have a lovely time teaching today.
Yes.
I want to be in your classroom.
I know you need to come to the United States and come visit.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Let's talk soon.